You started with passion, you stayed up late, you poured yourself into it, but now you're stuck. How do you know if it's time to push through on that project or time to let go? Let's talk about how to know when to quit or pivot a creative project. Welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast, where artists of all kinds come to fuel their passion, sharpen their skills, and thrive in their creative lives. I'm your host, Lara Bianca-Pilcher, life and creativity coach and fellow artist, here to support you on your artistic journey. Whether you're a performer, writer, visual artist, or any kind of artist, this is the space for real talk, practical advice, and inspiring stories. Subscribe and join us each week for more inspiration and actionable insights to fuel your artistry. Let's dive in and get inspired. Hello, welcome to the last episode before I take my July vacay. Welcome to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast. I'm Lara Bianca-Pilcher, life and creativity coach, author, and fellow artist. And this episode is for you if you're mid-project, mid-process, or just mid-creative confusion, asking, do I finish this thing I started? I mean, we're talking, is it a book? Is it a choreography? Is it just a reel for social media? Those sorts of things. Should I keep pushing? Am I quitting? I had an idea. Is it working? Maybe I shouldn't keep going with this idea or this line of creative thought. Am I quitting or am I evolving? Like, which one is it? How do I know? Whether you're a dancer, a writer, an actor, a singer, a visual artist, or any kind of artist, every artist runs into this crossroads. An example for me is I've started the Creative Mind little skits that I do on Instagram, and I decided to keep going with them. But I've had other lines of thought that I've done in the past that I thought would be good, and then for whatever reason I've gone through the process I'm going to take you through and gone, no, I'm going to pivot into a different direction. But how do you know what's right for you? Should I keep going, change direction, or walk away? Let's unpack this together. Starting with the real struggle. Am I giving up or am I being wise? Because the tension I hear from so many artists I coach is, if I stop now, am I just being lazy? But if I keep going, I might burn out or hate it. What if I just need more grit? What if I waste all this time and it doesn't work out? That's real. And most of us don't have a clear framework for how to answer those questions. We romanticize the artist who never gives up, but we rarely talk about the artist who choose to pivot and thrived. Sometimes quitting is clarity. Sometimes pivoting is progress. Let's get into the practical side. Here are 4 signs it might be time to shift, pause, or walk away. Number 1, you're pushing through resistance, but there's no reward. All creative work has resistance. That's normal. But if you've been pushing for weeks or months or even years, and it's only draining, it's not growing you, it might be time to reassess. Ask yourself, is this hard in a good way or a dead-end kind of way? For example, you might be dancing and going to class. It's going to be physically hard, and it may be energizing you. Well, that's just normal creative tension. That's just normal growth hard. But if you're that same dancer and you've been going for weeks or months and you hate it and it's draining you and you're not growing, maybe it's even just in that class, and you just feel like you're plateauing, that's when you ask yourself, is this hard in a good way or a dead end kind of way? Do I need to actually reassess? Number 2, the original purpose no longer fits where you are now. This is big. Maybe the project started as a fun experiment, but now it just feels like a burden. Or maybe the idea was right for who you were then, but not for who you are now. This happens with a lot of annual arts events and things where maybe you put something on and it was wonderful for that season, and you've kept doing it because it's the annual thing, but maybe now it's not working for you and it no longer fits or serves where you are now. Or maybe the idea was right for who you were then, but not for who you are now. Your growth might have outpaced the project, and that's not failure, that's actually progress. Number 3 is you're continuing only because of sunk costs. Say you've already put in 40 hours or 4 years or $400. So you tell yourself, I might as well finish. I'm in too deep. But time invested doesn't justify time wasted going forward. If you wouldn't say yes to starting this project today, why force yourself to finish it now? Obviously, I don't want to give you permission to quit just because it's hard. Remember, we're talking about things that are draining you, that are not growing you, that are not serving who you are now. And number 4 is you're staying because you're afraid of the pivot. Sometimes we hold on just because the next thing feels scary. But fear of the unknown isn't the same thing as a reason to stay. This is a hard question for a lot of professional artists that are freelancers. I met so many when I was living in London, people that had moved to the big city as they do to New York and other places that are arts hub to pursue an artistic career. And they continue to keep going even though it hasn't served them in years, even though the effort-reward balance is completely off, even though they are now burnt out, even though they haven't grown in years, even though they just feel drained by it. And maybe even their dreams don't feel like the same dreams anymore. But they hold on because the next thing feels scary, because the identity of being an artist in that space is what they're holding on to. But the fear of the unknown isn't the same as a reason to stay. Ask, if I let this go, what could open up? That question alone has shifted entire careers. I've talked about this particular example before on the podcast, but a great example is a dancer that I know who was pursuing Broadway for years, and it's almost like blinkers on, and while I'm in that mental space, she's not pursuing anything else, and then decided, this is draining me. This is not serving me. It's killing my creative soul. And as soon as she was like, I'm not going to audition anymore, but I'm going to stay in New York, she created her own creative project, her own YouTube show, her own classes, and the energy on that and the creativity on that is so attractive. She has made a huge social media following, more fans than she ever had just auditioning for things, so to speak. This is what we're talking about. If I let this go, what could open up? This is a hard question. And in fact, there is a low-level anxiety for me, even just saying this to you, because I know what it is that a lot of you feel inside. I feel it too. And that question alone, however, has shifted entire careers. So many of us just get identity as a person out of saying I'm an artist, in this space or that space or whatever. And you don't have to throw away that identity, but that pivot could be something that serves your identity even better. If you're feeling stuck in a creative rut, whether you're unsure what to finish, what to quit, or what to pivot, I have a free resource for you called Stuck in a Creative Rut. You can download this simple coaching-based step guideline to help you get clarity and start moving forward again at larabiancapilcher.com. Quitting isn't failing, it's refocusing. Well, we're going to talk about it. Here's the reframe. You're not a quitter because you change your mind. You're not a failure because you let go of something that no longer serves you. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do as an artist is redirect your energy so your art stays aligned with your life. You're allowed to shift. You're allowed to pause. You're allowed to say, this mattered once, but I'm choosing something better now. And that might even be for those of you listening who haven't had creativity at the front of your life. And you're thinking, this job, this thing I'm doing that mattered so much. Maybe I need something else. Maybe I need to serve my creativity better. That's creative maturity, whatever way we're looking at that. That's wisdom. So my creative spark, that's my little challenge for you this week. Take one creative project or idea that feels stuck. Ask yourself, why did I start this? Is that reason still true? If I let this go, what would I make room for? And even if you don't make a big decision right away, at least get honest on paper. Again, that could be for a creative project or idea, or it could be for your career, your creative direction, all of that as well. So just a quick summary of what we've talked about in this episode. The emotional struggle. If I stop now, am I being lazy? What if all these years that I invested are a waste? And then I wanted to give you 4 signs to kind of help yourself make the decisions about whether to quit, pivot, persevere, walk away, change direction. Number 1 was you're pushing through resistance, but there's no reward. 2, the original purpose no longer fits where you are now. 3, you're continuing only because of sunk costs, whether that's hours, years, money. And number 4, you're staying because you're afraid of the pivot. Thanks for joining me for this Real Talk episode on Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist. There's no shame in pivoting, and there's power in choosing what gets your time, energy, and attention, whether that's a creative partnership, something you started, something you're teaching, something you want to start, all of the above. It's an open conversation that you'll continue as you do that creative spark with yourself. And I'll be taking a break for the month of July, but the podcast archive is full, actually over 80 episodes, to keep you inspired while I rest and reset. And it's my hope that you can go through the titles, especially the more recent ones, because I've pivoted the way I do the podcast in the last 6 months as well. And you can find what you need, like a library of creative coaching help. And as I take this break to recharge, take the time to go back and have a listen to those episodes. And I want to keep you inspired while I rest and reset, ready to serve you when I come back in August. Until next time, keep showing up for what matters. Showing up for your art is showing up for you, but do it with intention. And trust that clarity often comes after the pause. Until next time, friends, remember I'm with you on the journey. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to the Healthy, Wealthy, Wise Artist podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss an inspiring conversation or actionable insight. You can read the show notes and learn more at larabiancapilcher.com. And be sure to share this episode with fellow artists who could use a little extra inspiration. Until next time, keep creating, stay audacious, and remember, your artistry matters.